Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to playoff SFLm football. Let's get excited. We have the Anchorage Wolves playing the New York Gargoyles. We are here in Anchorage, Alaska for our second playoff game of the evening. This is where things get real. This is where the games truly matter. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle in. You have about an hour and a half or so football ahead of you. I'm DJ Kilgannon, and with me in the booth is the Season 11 SFLm Broadcaster of the Year, John Campbell. John, let me know what you think about this game.
DJ, thank you very much. It's an absolute honor to be here, and we are in for a great one. The playoffs are a whole new season, and New York ended the regular season with a strong win against San Diego, and they're coming in against a team that barely missed the top two in Anchorage. This is an excellent matchup between two extremely hot teams. The question is, who's going to step up? Is it going to be Dominic Kane and the halfbacks of New York, or is it going to be the mixed aerial and ground assault of the Wolves of Anchorage?
Certainly gonna be exciting to watch here, John. Super excited to be here with you, my friend, on this evening as we kick off. New York will have the ball first. We've seen it all season long as they get a pretty solid return to start this one out, John. We've seen it all season long. New York has struggled, to say the least, but they're going to have the most momentum they've had all season long in this game. They are coming off of a win. New York pulled an upset, if you will, against San Diego in their house last week, well, a few weeks back, to end the regular season. But Anchorage has been on a hot streak. They beat one of the better teams in the league, San Jose, last week, or a few weeks ago, to end the regular season. But New York certainly has more momentum than they've had all season long. And if they're going to win, now's the time they need to do so.
You're absolutely right, and they're going to do it on plays like this toss-out play to Tombstone Kane, and he's going to need to find a way to break through that first contact. He's been doing it all season, and that was an uncharacteristic tackle in the backfield for a little bit of a loss with a huge play from the defender, Green.
Yeah, Bobby Green, the leader of this Anchorage defense, the sheriff in the middle of the field, if you will. Jad McPherson and Finn Steele, your defensive linemen here for Anchorage. Bobby Green dunking on him. Zachary Babineau, your linebackers. Julian Gasca and Eric Belmont, your corners. Hendricks will drop back. A little bit of pressure on the outside, but a connection is made. It's going to be 4 yards short of the first down marker for D'Angelo Lopez.
And that's what's great about New York. Don't let the record fool you. Even when they're losing games, they are still a dangerous threat across the field. D'Angelo Lopez with a great 9-yard reception to get 3rd and 4.
Some motion on the side of New York here. A defender does follow. Anchorage showing some man coverage in this nickel look. A lot of pressure here from Anchorage. Brady Hendricks, great time in the pocket. Throws one across the field. Ball's incomplete. Nearly a huge incompletion to Ivan Lazardi.
Looking for his favorite receiver there, Lazardi, and Hendricks breaks the pocket calmly and coolly, just roams the field, but the pass can't quite make it in time, and there's an excellent breakup by the defending Anchorage backfield led by Julian Gasca.
You know, John, that's an instance where you can have all the time in the world to throw the football. If the defenders downfield are playing good football, then you're not going to find anybody.
Well, and just like that special teams play, an excellent punt by Cameron Duty leaves absolutely no choice for Hightower to return it. He's got to get a fair catch there, setting up the ball all the way back on their own 25. Basically a touchback at that point.
After a rough start for the New York offense, Anchorage now will take the lead. Tim has been the catalyst of their offense this season, but they will start with a Michael Pajak pass to the opposite side of the field, and it's caught by Kevin Parker. A lot of separation for him on the sideline, and eventually gets dragged down by Hudson Cruz.
Absolutely huge yards after the catch for Parker, is able to charge all the way down the field, and Cruz, who's covering man on the other side of the field, has to come all the way back over and basically play safety on pursuit.
I think that it looks like that was Zion Waddles, the over-the-top safety, who nearly jumped that route. But Michael Pajak, for such a young QB, he has a lot of touch. And, you know, he feels Feels like he needs another. He's going up to the majors next season. Not opting for the draft though. Aunt Tim here will get a run. That is someone who is opting into the draft. However, Aunt Tim has been great for Anchorage. Has just shy of 1,000 yards coming into this playoffs on 200 carries.
And Aunt Tim is so good at breaking that first tackle that it takes a strong safety coming in all the way from the third level of the defense, Marquand Manuel, to get the tackle.
Oh, that one shut down right as it got started. That was Jim Hood. Got in pretty much less than a month ago. October 14th is when that young halfback joined the league. Getting some early playoff experience, as all SFLm teams do. But that a rough hit to start his game.
Well, and Mike Alberts, the captain of that linebacking core for New York, absolutely makes him pay for trying to break through the line there.
Yeah, absolutely does. As Pajak will drop the throw again. A lot of time. Throws it to a drag over the middle, but brought down well short of the sticks. That was Hudson Cruz, who was following in coverage, able to get the tackle.
Yeah, they call him the cruise missile, and he's one of those players from that New York defense that is going pro next season, and you can see why. That guy is fast and strong.
Joe Garfield, the Queen City kicker, nails that one. Could have hit it from way farther, as long as 44. That one certainly in his wheelhouse. Garfield, the kicker, like we had mentioned. Trace Welsh doing the punting as well here for Anchorage.
Wolves getting on the board here first, 3 points, but with the return that they had, you expected a little bit more. That's some great defense by New York to hold them to only 3 after that huge play.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's sort of that bend but don't break mentality you look like, you look to hope to see when you look at your defense in those spots. Let's take a look at the New York offense here as they take the field. Brady Hendricks, the quarterback, Dominic Tombstone Kane, and Kelby Big Soldier, your halfbacks. Tom Thickey, your fullback. Yak Williams, D'Angelo Lopez, Ronnie Shanahan, and Ivan Lazardi. Your receivers will get to the rest after this play. Hendricks drop back. Pressure on his edge. He takes off up the middle. Tries to truck Bobby Green. A very brave decision as he falls forward for the first down.
And these SFLm quarterbacks love breaking the pocket vertically like this. A couple of them do this, and despite his size, Hendricks still has the speed to not just break the pocket, but get a huge gain and get down safely containing the ball.
Yeah, and I would have liked to see him do that on that last third down attempt when he didn't have anyone downfield. But nonetheless, two-step drop, connects on the little screen pass there. That was to Ivan Lazardi, hoping to make something happen after the catch. Let's get to the rest of this offense here. Your tight ends, Leon Sandcastle and Robert Thump. And your pair of tackles, Morgan Toriel and Canny Cook.
Well, Lazardi's a favorite target there, making up for that lost reception before, but can't quite break containment after, like you said, that screen pass was brought down for a 0-yard gain.
Robert Thump motioning to the other side of the field, leaving Leon Sandcastle alone on the bottom side of your screen. Hendricks faces some pressure and connects. Oh, and a tackle broken there for Lopez as he goes down just short of the sticks.
Another really strong catch for that Dev receiver, D'Angelo Lopez. He is playing some great ball for New York here, providing a veteran presence alongside Ronnie Shanahan.
They will actually call that a first down. Must have had forward progress go in his favor there. Two receivers to the top side of the screen here for Hendricks. To bring a little bit of pressure again up the middle. Hendricks moves outside of the pocket, fires over the middle. Oh, and nearly caught there by Lazardi.
Almost brought down, but just an excellent on-ball coverage by Eric Belmont to break up the pass. We got 2nd and 10 now. The question is, are we going to see them go back to their run game, which we've seen them known for all season? Are they going to keep going with this aerial assault that they've been trying so far this game?
Yeah, both of these offenses now seeming to want to take this one by air. They will continue that narrative. Ton of time to throw, and another little hitch route over the middle for 5.
Well, why choose one? You're going to go to the air game to Dominic Kane. Get him involved one way or another. You know the defense is going to be looking at him, but they're not necessarily looking for him in these short little passing route games. This might be a great way to get the defense off their heels.
Take a look here, split backs. One stays in the back to block, and a great catch. That was Lazardi, and they will not give Lazardi forward progress. I'm shocked at the call after the forward progress they gave earlier, but they must have seen something on field I didn't.
Definitely looks like he caught it over the line, but maybe the refs say that by the time the second foot came down, he was behind it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Inside the opposing 40, and they're going for it. Give it to Big Kane up the middle. He's done it all season long. Why stop now? We see some motion sending a tight end to the bottom side of your screen. Makes it 2 extra tight ends to that side, 1 to the other. Handoff to the left-hand side. All the room in the world for Dominic Kane.
And it was an excellent decision to move Sandcastle over to the near side because you saw the oncoming pressure from the edge rushers of Anchorage. So they're going to run it to that side with no fear, bringing over those extra tight ends for blocking with an excellent outside run.
Absolutely. Single back here. More pressure up the middle from Green, but this time he gets there. They've done it plenty of times, and this was the first time Bobby Green was able to break the seal.
The blitzing inside linebacker, Green, and he's not coming through untouched. He has to fight through the center and the guard here, but he's able to do so and is bringing him down despite the block of O'Dwyer. Huge sack, 2nd and 15 now for New York.
After the risky play calling, they're back to about the spot of the ball that they were before that 4th down attempt. As again, they go with a single back look, and again they blitz the linebacker. Connecting over the middle is Robert Thump.
Big pass to the big rookie tight end, and that's what you want to see out of those inside seam routes on the tight end. He's going to drop the block, come across the middle, and instead of letting him blitz, Green now has to come back into coverage, and that's a one-up-one matchup that the tight end's going to win a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both players are talented, but it's hard for a linebacker to be that quick on their feet, especially while going backwards trying to keep up with a pass catcher. Another split backs look here from New York. Very soft coverage on the top side of the screen. Nearly 10 yards of separation from wide receiver and corner. Make it 2 to the top. That was Lazardi. Handoff up the middle to Kane. Gets shut down. Only a gain of 1.
Great tackle by guess who? Bobby Green. Sees the run coming on 1st down, comes in over the outside, and meets Kane before he can get beyond that 1st yard.
And near the 2-minute mark here in the 1st quarter. Single back again. 8 individuals here in the box for Anchorage. A shallow safety. Only about 15 yards off as we have a nice run here. Kane fighting ahead, making it inches. Goes from 1 to 9 in back-to-back rushes.
Now, one of the few backs in this league who does run it in back-to-back plays. Kane is strong, and he has the ability to last. Early in the game, it's not unlikely to see him go back-to-back, but now we're probably going to see Big Soldier here to try to get over this 3rd and inches situation.
And they certainly don't mind. Kelby, similar build to Kane, just a little bit shorter. Of course, not as much experience. Big Soldier joined back August 25th. Pitch to the outside, plenty of room, and that is Kelby Big Soldier getting a big play here to continue the drive.
KBS taking that ball and running with it. This guy joined back in August. This is his 1st season in the SFLm, and he is showing that he is here to stay. He's not just Dominic Kane's backup. He is an absolute powerhouse in his own right.
We'll talk about Dominic Kane. A very tough run there. Breaks through a tackle or 2. Eventually gets brought down just a few yards within the goal line.
And in the red zone is where Kane does the most dangerous work. This guy had 6 touchdowns and a receiving touchdown over the course of the season. Really strong work, and he is going to be their mainstay here all the way through the field.
Another eye for him. Looks like Kane is in the backfield again. Handoff up the middle, and no gain. Maybe a loss. Bobby Green again getting involved.
Green is taking over this game defensively for Anchorage, and that's how a lot of these teams are built now. From the middle out, and that inside linebacking position is quarterbacking and leading the defense.
Off to the right side. Kane crosses the goal line. New York takes the lead at the end of the 1st quarter.
Fantastic power running by Tombstone. That's what he is known for, and that's what whatever SFL team he is going to this season is going to be getting. He is going to be a powerhouse in the pros from day one with runs like that.
Absolutely. He is opted out of the draft, has a destination in mind. As the kicker lines up, and John Smith nails it.
Great drive by New York here. 15 plays. They controlled it. Even when they had a couple of TFLs and losses, they didn't let it get to them. They had plays for every situation, and they end this drive with 7. That's a great way to get this first quarter capped off.
Absolutely, and John Smith, after that kick, continues to stay perfect on the season. Look at Cameron Duty getting all the way downfield, nearly getting involved on the tackle. Elliott Pope Jr. on the return. Let's take a look at this Anchorage offense. We talked about him a little bit earlier, but didn't do the full lineup. Miko Pajak, your quarterback. Jim Hood and Aunt Tim, your halfback. Chevy Monte Carlo, your fullback. Kevin Parker, Joey Hightower, Elliott Pope Jr., and Bobby Tarantino, your receivers. Sanj Singh, your sole tight end. And your group of 4 offensive linemen, 2 tackles and 2 guards, Jackie Jones and Jess Fullerton Galarza, as well as Rose Steele and Demon Pick will fill out your guards.
They built this team with intention, and they built it on the line.
They surely did, and what a catch there from Hightower. He's been doing this all the way since he was in Boston in his first season in the league. A very nice contested catch.
That's right, a second-year receiver, and he can play on the outside and he can play in the slot. He is fast and strong, going up, getting that one-handed grab.
That's the end of the first quarter. New York leads 7-3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back in, everybody. Second quarter football. The Anchorage Wolves have the ball just past the 50-yard line. I am DJ Kilgannon. With me in the booth is your SFLm Season 11 Broadcaster of the Year, John Campbell. Our statisticians, J.W. Hartshorn and Ellie Guillaume, as well as our SFLm Commissioner. Of course, Alex West is on. Tim breaks away. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Tim.
And that's what the Wolves will do to you. At the drop of a hat, they are going to run it all the way down with Aunt Tim. Just the second carry of the game, and what does Tim do? Takes it all the way to the house. 47 yards for 6 points.
Man, what a way to start the quarter if you're Anchorage. Taking back the lead against these Gargoyles. Making it a field goal game with the extra point. And man, a pair of carries for Tim and a pair of broken tackles on that play was all he needed to take it to the house.
Blink and you miss it. That's what the SFLm is all about.
That is right. People making a name for themselves. Aunt Tim certainly been doing that this season. Top 3 in rushing yards. 159 shy of Dominic Kane on the other side of the football, who is second in the league in rushing. Aunt Tim as well tied for second in rushing touchdowns on the season, and top 3 in rush yards per game as a great kick return. Ivan Lazardi making another huge impact as he has all season long, bringing New York within the 40 already.
And that's what they'll do. They'll mix him up in there. He's not always their kick returner. They are using a lot of different players at that position. They want to save Lazardi's stamina for the actual on the offense most of the time. But when he steps into that role, that is a dangerous man starting that drive now at the 41.
Ivan Lazardi, third in receptions on the season, third in reception yards, tied for second in receiving touchdowns, a huge catalyst for their offense. Kane will get the look now, and they call him Tombstone for a reason. Barreling over a defender as he charges ahead for a gain of 6.
Just absolutely dropping that man into the shadow realm. 6-yard run on a powerful slam from Kane.
Other I form here. One tight end slightly off the line. Very heavy set box for Anchorage. And man, that one blown up before it could even get started. That was one of your linebackers here for Anchorage, Dexter Coakley.
And there is so much strength across the board, top to bottom on this defense, that you're going to see plays from players you've never heard of, like Coakley.
Wish I could say I've never said Coakley's name, but unfortunately, I remembered he was that number. And what a pass deflection there. That's Belmont for Anchorage.
The dev corner coming down from Queen City, showing that awareness. Got eyes on the back of his helmet there, jumps up and around, gets his hand and swats down the pass.
Yeah, very nice play there, forcing 4th down for New York. That's exactly what you want if you're Anchorage after a huge explosive play that took the top off of the New York defense to get the ball right back. Great punt here. Does go into the end zone, but about 4.5 seconds of hang time. That's Cameron Duty again. Great punt.
Really strong punt. Marquand Manuel there can't quite get back to the ball in time to pin them down. It goes for a touchback to go to the 20, but still a really great kick by the punter.
Nickel look here for New York. Offset single back here for Pajak. We'll see some motion with that sing for Anchorage, the tight end. It is. Pajak will survey. Time is ticking away on the game clock. The snap will go off. You see the shovel out to the right for Pajak, but over the middle is where the throw will go. Kevin Parker continues what has been a sensational campaign for Anchorage.
Well, and that's why Anchorage put so much on the line. Look how much Pajak has to spend in the pocket and let Parker get open. Parker and Hightower have had great seasons because they are great receivers, but because Mikal Pajak has had the time and ability to let them get open.
Kevin Parker, 4th in receiving yards on the regular season. This team is great in both facets of the game. Aunt Tim is showing why they're so good on the ground. Tackle is brought down by Zion Waddles.
And Tim forced yardage after contact there. Not able to really break free and get into a second zone, but the strength and momentum that he has was able to push forward and turn that into a nice 5-yard gain.
4-3 look here for New York. A little shift in the defensive line there. I form for Anchorage. They'll motion over Joey Hightower to the bottom side of your screen, and more shifting on the defensive side. Looks like they may bring some pressure as a corner joins Hightower out far. Hood takes the run just a yard short of the sticks.
And that was the other safety, Beckett, coming in on that tackle, sort of playing the nickel position or the dime back position there. Coming in on that run, just preventing that first down. 3rd and 1 now for Anchorage.
Another 4-3 here. Looks like a very similar, the exact same look, the exact same spot. Aunt Tim will get the run this time, though. Eventually gets wrangled down after a short gain, but enough to move the sticks.
And again, breaking that first contact that's right at the line. And that's been one of the differences in these two run games so far, is that Kane's been met in the backfield and has to throw them off. Tim's coming with gangs of blockers, and they're able to get through and find a lane into the next level.
Looks like a dime look here for New York. 4 to the top side of your screen, and a connection to Hightower again.
And that is excellent aggressive offensive play calling there. Get the defense looking on the ground over and over again. Catch them sleeping when Hightower's just able to break through the defender standing at the line. 1st down, Anchorage.
The defender did what they were supposed to. They stood in their zone, but in doing so, Hightower had a free lane to just run behind him. Looks like another dime look here for New York. Bunch to the bottom side of your screen for Pajak and the Wolves. A run up the middle, though, on Tim. Has a block downfield and gets a bit more. Sanj Singh with a terrific block in the middle of the field. Hopefully we get another look at that.
Designed as a little inside run, meant to get 3, maybe 4 yards. Tim finds this hole, is able to get excellent blocking by one of the wide receivers there. Busts all the way down. Huge, huge runs for Tim.
Yeah, huge props to Sanj Singh. In this game, Tim has now well passed the 1,000 rushing yard total on his season. So congratulations to Aunt Tim. As Pajak will pass this time, pressure in the middle, doesn't matter. Singh, who had the great block on the last play, will get pulled down at the half-yard line.
First target of the night, first catch of the night, and you called it. Pajak was under huge pressure, probably the first really rough play we've seen by this Anchorage line tonight, and when you have weapons like Singh who can make those physical catches in the red zone, you've got faith. Pajak just chucks it up there, and Singh brings it down.
May West pressured the last time. Handoff up the middle, and Chevy Monte Carlo will get the touchdown.
Oh, DJ, you know I love a fullback dive. When the big boys get involved from the fullback position, it makes me smile. Love it when these guys are doing more than just lead blocking. Chevy Monte Carlo down from Sin City, getting 6 for Anchorage.
His second touchdown of the season for Monte Carlo. We've seen games where the whole chat was rooting for him to get the ball. He does so there in a big spot, and a playoff touchdown, certainly more appealing than a regular season one. Anchorage leads 10 here. So they will now kick back to New York halfway through the second quarter. If you're the Gargoyles, you need a positive offensive drive here, and you need it in a big way.
Another return by Lizardi, so it looks like they're using him more in that position tonight. And it's the most important game of the season, so you got to go for broke at this point. I understand the thinking. And this return, again, all the way up to the 28. Great plays by that lead receiving out receiver for New York.
Absolutely, as we see single back here for New York, a formation they're very comfortable in tonight, but a run to the outside will result. That's Tombstone Kane charging ahead for 2.
They only give him 2 there. Looks like to me he rolled forward for 3, so maybe it's a 2.5 they're giving him, but we're just seeing 8 on the official score there.
Pressures on the outside from the closing in defensive backs. Same players involved in the same play. Another 2.5 yard gain there, and a 52 on the tackle again. That is Coachley.
And now they're forcing New York into a passing down again. And you know whose name we haven't really called tonight? Julian Gasca. And that's because his coverage has been exceptional on Yak Williams or D'Angelo Lopez, whoever he's been on.
Yeah, and other than Coachley, we've said his name a few times, but the 2 other outside linebackers here for Anchorage haven't been called on too much. Nice completion downfield to D'Angelo Lopez.
Great little crossing scheme here where the receivers are going against each other, and it's almost like a pick route. The defenders get mixed up when they're playing in that man coverage. It allows a nice underneath pass to Lopez for a first down.
Yeah, and that was Belmont in the coverage. He's certainly no slouch. Just a great route to create separation. Flip back look here for New York, expecting a handoff to Kane up the middle. They will throw this time, though. The slant's open across the middle. They will fire. The defensive back in front of him tried to make a play to no avail, and Eric Belmont eventually will force him out of bounds.
Huge play here. A little bit of an aggressive undercut by Terrence Newman, who is covering the reception. Thankfully, there's the high safety who came down and made the tackle in the end.
Single back look here for New York again. Inside the 45, another good drive for them as they will, looks like they're moving. I think that might be D'Angelo Lopez moving into the backfield for them, but it won't matter. Handoff to Kane, who was put in the fullback spot on that one. Interesting look, but a good look. Gets him 7.
Fullback dives, even when you're putting your lead back in the fullback position, still make me smile. And it's because they hit the line with so much shorter momentum, the defense isn't able to read it as quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Thicky in the fullback spot there gets a block out for KBS.
And Thicky is the third layer of running backs. They've got Kane, they've got Thicky, and they've got Dillon. So they all work together back there. And it works for sort of a three-headed monster to pull eyes off of Lizardi in the air.
Another handoff up the middle. Kane gains 6 as he fights through a pair of defenders to fight for an extra yard or two. They've certainly seemed to be content with running the ball here as this drive is continuing, and I certainly don't hate the decision as the 2-minute warning hangs in the balance.
Right, they've basically got this free time out here. Let's see if they snap the ball before then for one last play.
They won't. We'll go back to the huddle and talk things over as the 2-minute warning has fallen upon us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 minutes left in this first half. New York trying to crawl back into this one. We are in the Wolf Den, far west of the States, up in Canada, in Anchorage. Offset I formation here. And motion over, that's 87 here. Sean Brewer making his way to the top side of your screen. A very heavy-sided defense for Anchorage as they'll run it up the middle, and man, Dominic Kane continues to fight through pairs of defenders.
Well, and this is really clever play design, right? They stack up the blocking so far over there that Anchorage starts to shade over to the left side more so, which lets Kane run up that B gap between the guard and the tackle originally. There's kind of more space in the middle when they pull up so much on the left.
Pass here is caught! Touchdown! Ivan Lizardi and Brady Hendricks showing a great sign of life here for the New York Gargoyles. They score.
An absolutely huge play for New York here. That's what you need to see when you go down 10. A great drive all the way down the field with Kane and Lizardi both getting involved. Lizardi gets a huge pass from Hendricks at the end there. Absolute dot for 6 points.
Hendricks in the regular season was able to score 11 passing touchdowns, 7 of which were to Lizardi. Certainly a great connection for the both of them as the extra point is good. And again, making it a 3-point ball game for New York.
Back to 3 points, and this is that tight football that we love to see. Again, it's a new season. These teams are 0-0 right now, and so it's anybody's game as we are now 3 points with a minute and a half to go.
A turn here well out of the end zone for Pope Jr. Gets wrangled down past the 35. And yeah, and you talk about how it's this new season for them. All right, and things, they looking at Anchorage's record, they were 6-4 in the regular season. Only 1 loss on home turf. That was to the San Jose Flight back in week 4 where they lost by a point, John. It's going to be hard to win in their house, especially in the playoffs, but New York certainly showing that they could be a team to do it.
That's right, and they're doing it with all phases of the ball, offense, defense, and special teams.
And off up the middle, I believe that was Tim who got the call. 3 yards as the clock continues to tick away.
Just a very strong tackle there by who else? Mike Alberts. Again, that second line defender coming in and meeting them at the line, stopping Tim from breaking through more often than not.
Alberts, one of the best in the league as far as linebackers go. A ton of time for the Polish Rifle to rifle one downfield. That was Kevin Parker on the attempted catch. They'll call clipping on Anchorage here. Or no, that's roughing the passer. Excuse me. Let's see this. Ajak gets the oh my, yeah, that is a great call from the officials. That's big Carl Powell, who just pancaked the Polish Rifle into the ground. Oh man, you can't do that.
The big right edge rusher sliding inside for that play and just gets a little too aggressive, a little too late.
Man. I know they're from New York, but that looked like a New York Mafia move. Powell was trying to take Pajak out. Someone said, hey, that's a hit. And he attempted to go for it, but Pajak is a tough guy. One hit like that isn't going to take him out of the ball game. If they're on the opposing side of the field now, they had plenty of time to take a drive downfield, and they certainly are in the midst of doing so. Single back here, nickel defense for New York. A pair of receivers to the top of your screen. The lefty will throw it across his body. Singh will stiff arm a defender for just a yard.
Really strong play there by one of the backup corners, Dennis Weathersby, to make contact right away and force the yardage to go east to west instead of north to south for just a modest gain on that play.
Goose makes a good point. Taking out the opposing QB doesn't work. We saw that in the earlier game on the block as Pajak will throw over the middle. Hightower gets the catch, and he gets brought down within the 25-yard line. A timeout here for the Wolves.
Strong catching by Joey Hightower. Just an absolute menace across the middle of the field, and one of those Anchorage players who's going to be moving up to the pro level in the next season.
They spent 2 good seasons down here in the minors. It's time for him to move on. Pajak, quick throw, and man, what a play! Kevin Parker pulls it in by a fingertip catch. Another
Oh, that was just an extraordinarily strong play, and you can see how pumped up they are about it. Pajak just barking at his guys in the huddle. They are using this to drive down the field for one last time in the half.
Offset single back. We've seen him pass out of this look a few times as Hightower will get sent to the other side of the field. Hudson Cruz will follow. That Cruz missile is in heat-seeking mode. Gameplay clock ticks down. The back stays in the backfield to block. Pajak to the right side! Nearly picked off! Oh, it falls to the ground on what should have been an interception from Beckett the other way.
Oh, and that was an aggressive throw by Mikkel Pajak. The end zone is not a lot of room to work with, and the Gargoyles defensive backs were swarming that back right corner of it. That was a hard throw to make. Very lucky it wasn't picked off.
I'd like to see a throw to Tim in the flat. I've seen that route open a few times on some of these plays against New York. Pajak, plenty of time, throws it to the corner, touchdown! Kevin Parker.
They say it's no good.
Or just one. Oh,
they say it's no good. 3rd and goal. They say that his foot was out of bounds and momentum carried him through.
Oh, come on. The home cooking doesn't go in the favor of Anchorage. I can't believe that. Oh, I wish I could see that again. Kevin Parker gets sent, making it 3 to the bottom side of your screen. 3rd down now. Pajak surveys, plenty of time, over the middle, it's incomplete, but no. I think that might be pass interference against the offense. No, they call it on the defense. Oh, man.
On Mike Alberts,
wow.
Generally a very strong defender. It is unlike him to get that handsy like that in coverage. Really, really disappointing call if you're a Gargoyles defender.
Anchorage, the refs here in Anchorage got scolded by the coach on the sideline, Ryan Davis, and had to pay them back for what seemed like a terrible call the first go around. Single back look here. 8 in the box for New York. A pass coming from Pajak to the right-hand side. It gets tipped down. The Cruz missile could have locked on to the other end zone, but he tips one down.
Really excellent play by Cruz here, jumping and just reaching. He knows that he can't make the pick, and so if he goes for it, it's going to be a reception. And so instead, he high points the ball, just gets a finger on it, and breaks up the pass.
High form here for Anchorage. I'd love to see a run. Keep it on the ground. You have no timeouts, but you can punch it in. Pajak throws. Sacked from New York! Oh, they're in hurry up now. 6-yard line. They have 6 yards to gain. Within 15 seconds, Pajak surveys, throws, pass deflected again. I cannot believe it. New York stops Anchorage on 2 instances in the red zone, even after the penalty.
Looking for Hightower on that post route going to the outside, and Devontae Moore, the Los Angeles corner, playing Dev, just again, reads it perfectly, knows he can't get the pick, and just breaks it up with that leaping tip instead. Fantastic defense by the Gargoyles in the red zone tonight.
Man, John, I mean, this offense, they just refuse to throw the ball. You look at their offense, and all you can think of is gunslinging shit because they just keep throwing the ball.
It is not what we expected when we came into this game, because as we said before, on Tim and Dominic Kane, respectively, have just been dominating this league on the ground, and instead they come out tonight just throwing the ball all over the place, giving Hendricks and Pajak a chance to really air out to their receivers. What I want to see is, are we going to start getting Sanj Singh and Robert Thump, our tight ends, involved?
Yeah, I'd love to see that if you're New York. We saw the connection with Thump on a seam route over the middle earlier, and it worked very well. New York will have one final throw before the half, before we call this a half. Crazier things have happened.
3 seconds to go. It is time to get a playoff, and with a guy whose name is Yak, don't be surprised if they go some big routes down the field, let Yak get something in the midfield, and try to run it in for a longer score.
Looks like they will attempt the Hail Mary 2-1, and that's the half. Hendricks will throw one up. It's nearly caught. I think that was D'Angelo Lopez on the attempted catch. But that's the half. Anchorage leads by 6. Man,
and
John,
what a half it was. This has just been exceptional football from both perspectives of offense and defense. At 20-14, it's been just through the air, fantastic passes, broken tackles by receivers, and on the ground, strong physical plays by Kane and nice shifty breaks by Tim. This game can still go absolutely anybody's way. Don't be surprised if we see the second half break out with an insane kick return as the deciding play. With the way that these offense and defensive players have been going, it might take that third unit to really break the game open.
Certainly wouldn't shock me. Both QBs 9 for 13. Pajak with significantly more yards. Kane with more attempts. Tim has more yards, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wolves Den here in Anchorage, Alaska. This chilly evening, the sun's setting here in Anchorage soon. I am DJ Kilgannon, your play-by-play broadcaster for the evening, and with me, I will give my dearest congratulations again to John Campbell, our SFLm Season 11 Broadcaster of the Year. Pleasure to be with you, my friend. Our statisticians, J.W. Harshorn, Ellie Diomas, and of course, Alex West, making this evening exciting as always as our Tuesdays continue to be lively.
Absolutely. We need to take a moment to give a shout out again to the statisticians and the game runner here. We could not do what we do in the broadcast booth if we didn't have a game to call and if we didn't have just our excellent stat keepers alongside us. So huge props to everybody who helps out with the SFLm and just the virtual football network in general. Make sure that if you're watching this game, you're going to smash that like button. It helps not just this league, but the whole network.
It certainly does, as Sanj Singh will flip sides of the field here for Anchorage. They get the ball at half, and they hope to continue to extend their lead. It's still a touchdown ball game, but that right there is exactly what you should want to see out of your tight end. Attacking up the seam, getting behind the linebackers.
Just a great play by Singh, and we talked about it before the half. The tight ends are the ones who have been sort of the most quiet group of the night so far. So the halftime adjustment might have been said, let's mix up what we're doing with the big guys.
2nd and inches there as Kevin Parker pulls in another one nearing the century mark on his day already.
Huge plays for Anchorage, and again, they're doing it through the air. 2nd and inches now, though, with that offset back. We're going to see a Tim run here, I bet.
Yeah, very strong to the bottom side of the screen. Handoff up the middle. Monte Carlo gets the dive up the middle. Doesn't get much, but gets enough.
And that's what Monte Carlo does best. We saw it earlier on the touchdown run, and again, we see it here. If you need just those little inches, you give it to the cube. Rev that V20 engine, Chevy Monte Carlo for the first down.
Yeah, that is, for lack of a better term, a big boy. As that pass falls to the turf, incomplete. Mike Albert's involved on the play.
Just great all-around coverage there by New York. There wasn't a lot of options to go to, and so Pajak gets it up to one of his lead receivers who he's got a lot of faith in, but there's just too much coverage around the whole field, and Alberts gets his mitt up on it.
Take a look here for New York again. Pajak, so much time to fire over the middle. Kevin Parker is the target, and he's the one who pulls it in again. The Polish rifle sinking his teeth into the gargoyles.
Taking just the right amount of time. Parker knows that it's zone as soon as he's off the jump, and he says, okay, I'm not going to have to sprint down the field as fast as I can. Instead, I'm going to sprint down the field as smart as I can. Finds the under route, finds the hole in the zone, and now at 115 on the night.
23 yards per reception for Parker now. As Pajak will throw again. The pass first approach working to the right, and it's picked off, taken the other way. Hudson Cruz finally gets his hands on one. A spin move. 39-yard line is where the refs will spot it, and man, what a drive killer there for the Gargoyles.
Almost any player in the league besides Hudson Cruz, I say take a knee, young man. You take the touchback there, but the Cruz missile put the burners on. Pajak, though, is pretty quick and is able to force him to make the decision. Instead of going out of bounds, Cruz tries to spin it back in, goes down, but what a return by the Gargoyles corner. That's a fantastic start to the second half for New York.
Man, I thought he may have been gone. He had the cruise control on as he was returning that down the sideline. Need to put your pedal to, or your pedal to the floor a little bit more there. They'll show that one in tape. Getting chased down by the QB, but they won't mind it one bit considering he just saved them what would have been a touchdown. Dominic Kane taking bodies out here on his carries.
Again, using that strong left arm to throw guys off as he's controlling the ball with the right arm. Just 3 yards, but you know that Bobby Green is questioning his choices after taking that massive forearm to the chest.
Absolutely. Hendricks will throw. Time is there. An out route to the top side of the field will connect with, I believe that was D'Angelo Lopez who was able to pull. Oh, that was Robert Thump, excuse me. 6'4", 260, man, talk about a unit.
That is a big boy. Second catch of the night on 3 targets, I think it is. And he's one of those guys who, when he gets involved, he's going to trick you a little bit. He'll line up on the outside. You're going to think it's a block, and then he's going to bust out on the side for an 18-yard reception.
Another nickel look here for Anchorage. The defender will follow in suit. Looks like it'll be zone here for the Wolves. Motion makes it 2 to one side. The run, the pitch out to the outside. Kane has room. Bobby Green in chase. Eventually, a hard hit will force Kane out of bounds. Kane getting a taste of his own medicine.
It's an absolute bang play. Kane throws a guy off at the line, and Green gets his revenge. We might as well be watching some simulated hockey league here with the body checks we're seeing tonight.
Some hockey, some boxing. Man, these are some hard hits. But no, it's just SFLm football, and that's what you get down here. Always hard-fought games and always hard-hitting games. As it looks like Kane will line up in the backfield again. Hendricks will pass, though the pressure to his back. Caught one-handed there. That time it's Yak Williams getting his first target and first catch on the ball game.
And that was just an incredible play. Pass goes a little bit higher than Hendricks wants it to. It's high and out, but Williams makes the grab by stretching out to his full length for a great 10-yard reception.
Corner Julian Gasca trailing in coverage there. It was a very nice slant route up the middle. Single back again. You have two tight ends to the bottom side of your screen, both in three-point stances. As Kane will get it up the middle, fights for as much as he can gain, and it's only 4.
But those 4 were hard fought. We see chunks of the turf flying up here because we're talking about the unstoppable force and the immovable object as Kane keeps wailing into Onum and Green.
Hand off to the outside. Dillon gets a stiff arm. Green follows but gets blocked. Touchdown, New York. With the extra point, they will take a 1-point lead.
Taking a page out of the lead back's book, Dillon gets his arm right in the face of the defender and says he's not going to go down at the first contact, grabs him by the shoulder, puts him on the turf, and walks easily into the outside of that end zone.
Man, and John, you look back at a previous drive for Anchorage. I mean, one of the biggest of the entire game where New York forced a field goal. Right, and one thing we talked about on why Anchorage wasn't able to score is they weren't running in the end zone. New York gets it to the red zone. They continue to run, and what happens? They punch it in. When it comes to playoff football, or really any football in general, John, field goals can't win it. Finish your drives.
Well, and it's something that a lot of people get wrong about this is they say, oh, if you're running the ball, it's going to be a long, methodical drive. It's going to take a lot of time. This was only a 6-play drive, but it was still dominated by Kane and Dillon running repeatedly. They had enough attacks in the air with Robert Thump and Yak Williams to mix it up. But this was a huge play drive by the backs predominantly, and that's what the Gargoyles need to keep doing if they're going to take control of this game.
Iggy Turner, the one-year coach, in his very first taste of playoff football, currently leads against the 6-4 Anchorage Wolves by a point. Halfway through the third quarter, just 15 minutes to go, Iggy. Don't be too nervous. I formation here for the Wolves. 2 to the top side of the screen. Nickel formation here for the defense. That's Bobby Tarantino making his way, making it a pair to the bottom side of the field now. Jack will drop back again. So much time. Throws it shallow. Very, very shallow. Only a gain of 2 on the pass to Tim.
Not quite a play action, but they line up in a run-heavy formation. And Tim just does that quick little 2-yard out, but the New York linebackers are right on it. Alberts and the rest of his crew of Hardy and Ross were there to make the stop as soon as the catch was made.
Hightower making it a trio of receivers to the bottom side. He is followed by Cruz, though. Jack will throw over the middle again. It's Hightower, the aforementioned. He gets wrangled down eventually after a first down.
Zion Waddles, the free safety, is the lead tackle maker on that one. But it took a whole unit. It takes a village, as they say. And that tackle took a village because there was some momentum behind that reception.
Absolutely, and Hightower, kind of tricking up the defense. They had to shift and change their adjustments as he moved across field. Another nickel look here for the Wolves, or for the Gargoyles, excuse me. Handoff up the middle to Tim. We haven't seen much of that, but maybe we should see more as it results in 7.
Breaking the first tackle, and it's Brian Simmons, the outside linebacker, coming in from the north side of the field to make the tackle in the end, because Tim was busting through with authority on his 8th carry of the night.
Like I said, 8th carry of the night. I can't see why we're not running it to Tim Moore, averaging 11 yards per carry. Motion for Monte Carlo makes it offset eye, and Hood gets smashed by a defender. 3rd and 1 will commence.
Seemed to get stuck behind the blockers there. None of the holes really opened up that they wanted to find between these defenders. A great mix of attack from LJ Hobbs and Mae West to block up those running lanes.
Monte Carlo again gets a run in a big spot and gets plenty of yards on the play. Gets about 5 or 6 with that first down run. And this drive, John, they are running the ball a lot more, and clearly it's working.
Well, and this is what we were expecting. It's interesting to see that they are comfortable still going to that now down, but it's a tight game, and Anchorage got their record by running with Tim like that.
Anchorage, their most run-filled drive, if you call it that, was 5 plays on a drive that resulted in a touchdown earlier, their second of the ball game. This one already 1 run shy of matching that number, 4-3 for New York, and they will see that 5th run of the drive. And Tim charges ahead, breaking through a tackle or 2 to get the first down.
Just really strong running, and maybe they wanted to make the Gargoyles think it was going to be a pass game so that they opened up these short lanes for Tim, because he is running with some absolute authority, still averaging over 10 yards a carry tonight as he passes the century mark.
And they will go back to their old ways as they get into the red zone. Empty for Payjack, dime look for New York. So much time to throw over the middle, and for good reason. Connecting with Hightower. Weathersby, the attempted defender there, and Hightower just more physical.
Biggest catch of the night for Hightower. That's 6 on 8. That is some extraordinary efficiency by the Payjack to Hightower connection tonight. 90 yards and now a score. That is huge as Anchorage goes up 5.
We've seen 15 passes from Payjack tonight, 5 of which were to Kevin Parker, 6 of which have been to Joey Hightower. Both of those receivers nearing the century mark. Kevin Parker already passed it. Hightower just 10 yards shy of it with a touchdown.
Now, obviously, we've been singing the praises of the Anchorage running backs because that's what Tim is one of the statistical leaders in, and that's what we were calling for the beginning of the night. But that doesn't mean that Parker and Hightower can be ignored. And don't forget about Pope and Tarantino, who have been pretty quiet besides special teams. Anchorage has a lot of weapons that this Gargoyles defense has to be looking out for.
Yeah, there's Anchorage offense doing as these SFLm teams should do, and they're starting their rookies, starting their younger guys, Kevin Parker and Joey Hightower, like you said, their 2 youngest receivers. So getting the majority of the looks tonight. Pope Jr. and Bobby Tarantino both playing down from the minors in the development league, haven't got a pass their way yet. Of course, more football to come as Anchorage is here in a 4-3. Can New York have another successful drive? That one is a falling catch for the Lizard as they convert another first down.
Well, and that was nearly picked off there. Just, I mean, you could see Dexter Coakley think that he had the pick. It was right in his hands, but it falls through for a much-needed grab for New York.
Hendricks, only 4 incompletions on the night. Terrific day for the young QB as Kane fights through a tackler. 2-yard gain to start that set of downs.
Well, and that's one of those really long 2-yard runs. He goes a total of 8 or 9 yards on the run, but most of it's spent running to the sideline. Just 2 yards officially towards the chains.
Yeah, a lot of east to west running here from these backs, especially the backs of New York. Heavy set box here for Anchorage. Hendricks takes a 2-step drop, and Belmont misses an opportunity to seriously help Anchorage in a big way. That one falls incomplete.
And we saw a very similar play in the first half, where Hendricks basically just stands up out of the snap and gets a quick pass off. And it was Belmont on that pass, too, that gets the breakup. That was almost a pick. You like those aggressive quick plays, but it might not be the right play to go to Belmont on those.
Green follows Kane to the receiver spot, and the corner route falls incomplete as the third quarter comes to a close. New York falls on that set of downs. Forced to punt now. Not in a scenario, not in the part of the field that you're willing to go for it like we saw them do earlier. So they will punt it, hopefully get a good one. Camera Duty's been punting phenomenally all night. And they will do more than flip the field position. That one lands at about the 16. He gets wrangled down at about the 27.
Yeah, just a nice little gain there. Made enough motion in his favor before the contact was made that he was able to push the gunning defender forward. And, almost a 10-yard gain at the end of it. Very solid work. pretty good field position now for Anchorage with the ball and 6 points to go in their favor. Don't be surprised if we see a lot more of the run game increase in volume as the game moves towards the end here.
Yeah, Anchorage, I mean, we've seen the interception. You can't have another one of those, and running the ball will help chew the clock. Pajak will throw, though, throwing it to the back out of the backfield. Tim meets Alberts and gets wrangled down just past the 40-yard line.
If they are going to pass, that's the kind of pass that it needs to be. Lining up in a run look and getting the quick little, whether you call that a wheel or a Texas route or whatever it is, getting the quick pass to Tim and letting him make the decision on where to run upfield.
It took the words out of my mouth there, John. Always call that one a Texas, trying to cut it upfield. But, there's so many names for these different routes. Can't even keep track anymore. As Jim Hood will get the look. And Mike Alberts shuts it down. 2-yard gain as the quarter will probably end with that play.
If I'm Anchorage, I'm not itching to snap the ball here. I'm letting that clock hit 0, and that's exactly what they do.
They do. You're right, partner. As Anchorage has the football, 6-point lead for them. It's a touchdown game as the third quarter comes to a close. Don't go anywhere, gentlemen and ladies. Anchorage has the ball here inside the 40-yard line. I'm DJ Kilgannon. With me in the booth is John Campbell, your commissioner. Alex West back at HQ, making all this happen. Of course, our statisticians. We will welcome them after this touchdown for Kevin Parker. 2 possession ball games after the huge touchdown to number 10.
And this is exactly what Anchorage did in the first half. They had the ball between the first quarter and the second quarter. They take that extended timeout to really draw up a nice play. Parker's able to undercut the aggressive play by the Gargoyles secondary, starting the quarter with a huge touchdown reception.
Yeah, that was Devontae Moore on the attempted pick. You just got to stay in front of your defender. You're playing the safety valve. Gets too aggressive, tries to jump it, and Parker takes advantage. And as promised, our statisticians, J.W. Hartshorn and Ella Diomas, thank you for all you both do. That one's up and good. Anchorage takes a 13-point lead on just a 3-play, 70-plus yard drive.
And as just pointed out by our statisticians, Parker now at 172 yards on 6 receptions. That is just absolutely extraordinary work by this young receiver, and the kind of thing that even the best defenders in the world are going to have a hard time hitting as he moves through his development and growth.
Parker, like you said, continuing what has been a great season with a great game to start these playoffs. New York certainly has time to make something happen, especially with how they've been playing. But as this fourth quarter ticks away, John, their run game will fall further and further onto the back burner. Hendricks will throw, and that one is a very errant throw. Nearly hits the hands of a Wolf defender, but falls to the turf.
Just a little too high for any of his receivers, but thankfully a little too low for any of the defenders.
Single back for New York. We've seen this out of them a lot tonight. Looks like a corner might blitz off the edge there for Anchorage. They will to the back of Hendricks, but he gets the ball out quick. Kane breaks a tackle. It takes a pair of them to bring him down after he gains 6.
And when you've got blitzing defenders, you've got 2 choices of what to do with your halfback. Are you going to set them up in a block, or are you going to throw them outside on a swing? And that's what they did there, and it worked perfectly. Kane gets the grab and a much-needed reception against that pressure.
Another throw there, this time to Robert Thump. He'll get dragged down a yard short of the sticks. Now I'm curious if this is a situation where New York, like we saw earlier, will go for it. They are on their side of the field, though. With 9 minutes left, they will punt.
And I think that's the right call. You do have some scores to go, but it's still your own territory. Put some faith in your defense. Let Cruz and Alberts and West take the field and show what they've shown all season, that they've got the strength to stand up with any offense.
Yeah, you're probably right. The Anchorage picks it out for the 30. Elliott Hook Jr. getting the nod again on
Pope goes right into the pile instead of trying to cut it to the outside, makes a nice little hurdle there, and gets a good return out of it, starting the ball here on the 30, which is about where Anchorage has started most of their drives this night so far.
Single back for them, bunch to the top side of the field. Dime look for New York. Pajak surveys. Time ticks away. A run up the middle. Stuck behind a blocker as Tim gets wrangled down. Zion Waddles, the free safety, will get awarded with the tackle for loss.
Well, and that's that team tackling. Zion Waddles coming all the way down from the third level of the field. They read the run and force Tim to try to break as many tackles as they can. And the answer is 4 is the magic number.
Yeah, Good will get the look on this one. A hard hit brings him down for a gain of 4. 3rd and 7 now. Anchorage will have to be forced to throw here, but they are certainly not shying away from that.
And so now we're going to see this secondary unit in action. More Waddles and Cruz are going to have to get the stop here and make that choice to punt pay off.
Sanj Singh moves to the inside of a trio of receivers at the bottom side of the field. Pajak will throw. 5-step drop. The lefty surveys a ton of time. Over the middle, it's caught! Hightower, a huge play for the Wolves, brings it down to the 20. He passes the century mark as well. A pair of these Wolves howling as the night proceeds.
And that trio of Pajak throwing to Parker and Hightower is just on fire tonight. The 3-headed wolf in the middle of the field is also the 3-headed wolf on the field.
We talked about Pajak throwing to these two the majority of the night. 18 completions, 13 of them being to the pairing of Hightower and Parker. Nickel look here. The run up the middle to Hood will result in a 5-yard gain. As this game goes along, John, his runs continue to get better and better.
And we have to give absolute props to the line of Fullerton, Galarraza, Pickle, Steele, and Jones. This quad unit has been doing absolutely great work, both in pass protection for Pajak and in making run lanes for Tim and Hood. And as you said, as the game goes on, they've only gotten stronger.
We sure have. This run to Tim fights through so many defenders. Devontae Moore eventually the one to bring him down. 1 yard short of the sticks is Anchorage.
So close to rolling forward just that little bit of extra yardage, but he pulls it back in and is trying to, instead of trying to stretch it out. Now we see Anchorage go for the eye. Maybe we get that Monte Carlo run again.
Yep, that's where my mind was going as well. They will kick the fullback out to make it offset, and a nice show run up the middle. Hood gets the look, and a nice spin move gets him another gain of 5, and makes it to the 5.
Makes the spin move, but then gets spun down by Alberts, just using that angular momentum against him, and he can't break free. Dragged down at about the 4.5, it looks like.
Great analysis there, John. Another offset eye here. Maybe you'll get your fullback dive inside the 5. We will. Monte Carlo gets the look. Only a gain of 1, though. Mike Alberts ruining the fun of every fullback lover.
But that's what those Mike linebackers are paid to do. That inside line looking for the runs coming anywhere in that ISO and inside zone space, stops it before it gets too deep.
10 in the box for New York as another dive up the middle. Monte Carlo, they give him the nod again. And another gain of 1. This time it's Waddles making a stop.
Even in the deepest parts of the red zone, right on the line, New York still has faith in their free safeties and their corners to keep them on the field instead of just looking at the jumbo packages.
And off up the middle. Tim says, hold my beer. Touchdown, Anton. He says, buckle up. This isn't only the Monte Carr show. I'm here too. And Tim will get his second touchdown of the evening.
Well, and his out tackle there, actually no, I think it was Sanj Singh, it was Singh on the coverage, just gets flattened by the rushing edge rusher. but Tim wisely steps to the side of it, makes a bit of a jump, doesn't let the failed block prevent him from getting in for the 6 points.
Anchorage this time runs in the red zone, and they will punch it in. 20-point game now as New York looks to hang their heads on the sideline. Crazier things have happened. You have 5 minutes. 3 touchdowns needed if you're the Gargoyles. It's certainly looking grim, but man, this game, John, I mean, it's a 20-point deficit in the fourth, but I'll tell you what, this game has felt much closer than that.
No, certainly. It's been a couple of rough swings for the Gargoyles that just, haven't gone the way that they would have liked it to. But they have played 3 extraordinary quarters of football and still have a more than a fighting chance to come back in this game.
Greg Ellis introducing himself to Ivan Lazardi in a devastating way. That'll bruise you up. As New York comes back onto the field, you need some magic. And Brady Hendricks, the real Brady of the SFLm, will have to be the one to make it happen.
The real Slim Brady.
There you go. I like it. Motion from a tight end, making it strong to the top side of the formation. Brady Hendricks, 2-step drops, connects with the aforementioned motion man. The motion man in question was Robert Thump, his 3rd catch in 4 throws. Brings him to the 50. Hurry up for Hendricks. 5-step drop over the middle, a little hitch route. Right at about 3-yard gain there as they continue. The top clock kicking away. 4.5 to go. Hendricks, another snap to the right side. The corner route almost hauled in by Ronnie Shanahan.
But great coverage there by Belmont to block Shanahan from making that reception. But it's great play calling by Hendricks and the Gargoyles staff. Save your timeouts. Let's just jump down the field as quickly as you can. Basically play 2-minute offense twice.
Inside the 50 now. Hendricks will throw to the left side and a falling catch by the Lizard. Oh, they'll call that inches. Assuredly, New York is going to go for this one. No hurry up, though, as they want to reconvene.
Well, and that's why they're not hurrying. They wanted to definitely throw that ball, that red flag, rather, because the catch carried him backwards, but he still hits the turf over where we think the yellow line is. Now remember, that yellow line is simulated, but so's the rest of the game.
That's very true. Was already on the hitch. Certainly a first down. See a better look at it in the actual marker.
Oh,
if
yes.
This is upheld. That'll be a travesty. Let's see. I'll lose it. It is overturned. Good.
Thankfully, it's overturned. I don't know what I would do if DJ lost it because I'm not sure if I could find it.
Coach for Anchorage slacking in the chat. Says he was on an airplane and didn't have internet. That shouldn't stop you from watching the game. You should figure something out. Create your own Wi-Fi connection or something. This is SFLm playoff football, guys. Come on. Like the video. We don't have enough. I don't know how many we have, but it's not enough. It's not a million. So it's not
never enough.
Pass here from Hendricks over the middle, falls to the ground. 2nd and 10, 4 minutes and a quarter to go.
Looking for Thump for another big reception on this drive, and he had it in his hands, but just gets sort of gang tackled there and is not able to come down for the catch. 2nd and 10 here, but we're probably going to see them keep going back to Thump and Williams, Shanahan, and Lazardi.
See some motion here from the Gargoyles, kicking Kane out, making it a trio to the bottom side of your screen. Pass here to the right side, caught just outside the 30, as they will hurry up now. Need 2 yards to keep their drive going. 4 minutes left on this game clock. Hendricks, 2 steps and nearly picked off. Looks like it hit off the helmet of Babineau to fall to the turf.
I think you are correct about that. They're saying it was Bobby Green on the coverage because he was playing one-on-one there. But it was Babineau who was providing a little bit of pressure that it bounces off his shoulder pads. New York has to go for it here, 4th and 2.
Single back. This is all or nothing here. It's already slim, but it's either slim or none. Game clock within 10 ticks away. Motion making Robert Thump to the bottom of the screen as well. For the left, and it's incomplete. Anchorage will seal it. The 20-point deficit, under 4 minutes to go, and they have the ball. I think that might be all, John.
Oh, just slightly throwing it a little too far inside. If the ball's on the outside, Lopez might have a chance at going for it without having to go up like that. But when he's in such a vulnerable position, it's hard to really expect him to come down with the ball. Anchorage now has full control over this. We're just going to see Hood, Tim, and Monte Carlo cycle through their game.
And you know, John, one thing I'm recalling too is early on in the game, you said Gazka. We hadn't heard their name too many times, and usually for a corner, that's a solid thing. And as this game goes along, we continue not to hear much from Gazka. A great night continuing. A lot of great coverages. Ryan Davis, the coach for Anchorage, in the chat, admitting he didn't even want to watch the game, but he's here in spirit.
And, we talked about the Kane versus Tim matchup, but the other side of that coin was the Cruz versus Gasca matchup. And Cruz showed his abilities with that huge pick earlier in the game. But Gasca's just been providing blanketing coverage on Lizardi or Lopez or Williams, whoever he's been tasked on any given play.
First down there for Hood. A very tough run. Those are one of the runs, John, where it felt like way more than just 1 or 2 yards.
But it wasn't, wasted yardage. He wasn't dancing around. He wasn't going too crazy. It was just a hard-fought, through the trenches battle for those couple of yards. And that's what you really love to see out of the young back, who is going to be back with the team next or back in the SFLm next season, I believe.
I believe you may be right. Yep, staying in the SFLm is Jim Hood. Aunt Tim is opting into the draft, as well as most of the backs across the SFLm. The only starting back that we have staying in the SFLm is Caleb Rex, who starts for San Diego. Him, as well as Joe Duncan, Kelby Big Soldier, will be staying in the minors. And Jim Hood, of course, will be the starter for... Well, I say that. We're going to have a mix-up here next season because Anchorage will no longer be in the SFLm next season. This will be their last season, at least to my knowledge. They will be moving up to the SFL, join the big leagues. Queen City will be relocating to Anchorage, taking their talents to the SFL. And I imagine that'll bring them out of the SFLm. I mean, I could be wrong. I usually am.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what this league looks like next season, both in terms of the players who are going to be sticking around. Like you said, the Aces have that pair of backs in Rex and Duncan, and then Jim Hood over wherever he ends up. They're going to be getting a very strong running back. And then there are some, great players across the board as well. You look at Birmingham, who's got the bye this week. Both the Big Stepper and Has-Been Keys are staying in the SFLm next season as well. So there's a lot of offensive talent on a lot of these teams to be building on moving forward.
Well, Tim will get the first down there in New York. We'll use one of their timeouts as this game is pretty much to a close. We can look to next week where, unfortunately, the New York Gargoyles and the San Diego Aces fall short of their playoff aspirations, and we will find ourselves with the statistical 4 best teams in the SFLm pushing forward further into the playoffs as Monte Carlo gets to look only a 2-yard game. Philadelphia will be traveling south to Birmingham next week, and Anchorage will be going very far southeast, traveling to very sunny California to play San Jose.
Yeah, fans of upsets were disappointed tonight, but such is life. These teams had the 4 best records for a reason, and they got the home games for a reason. Anchorage and Philly getting to host some playoff football in front of their home fans, but both of these teams next week are going to be going into some dangerous dangerous territory. Anchorage is going to be taking the game to San Jose, where the Flight have had just an extraordinary season, and it's going to be an uphill battle for them. It'll be interesting to see how they game plan for this coming forward.
Yeah, you look at the game. I'm interested to see San Jose and Anchorage match up again because Anchorage has won 2 games on the road in this season, right? That being in week 2 against the New York Gargoyles and week 10 where they beat San Jose in San Jose. We know Anchorage can get it done on the road in San Jose. Can they do it again come playoff time against the former defending world champion San Jose Flight? On that same sentiment, Philadelphia has only won 1 game on the road, that being New York in week 6. However, Philadelphia beat the Birmingham Hellhounds in week 10 by 17 points. However, it was in Philadelphia. Things might be a little bit different down south for the Philadelphia Cougars, but we certainly know they have the capabilities of beating Birmingham.
That Cougars home crowd has long time been the bane of many SFLm coaches. So it's, can they bring that aggression and that passion on the road? Will the Cougars fans travel? And it's the playoffs, and they have in the past. It's been a really tough matchup for anybody. It'll be interesting to see what happens in week 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Anchorage pulls this one out 41-21. New York held it very close in the first half, but Anchorage pulled away as the game continued. Man, John, the first round of playoffs is done. We have lost New York, and we have lost San Diego. Let me know what you think about the game, maybe a game ball, and maybe a prediction of what you might see in the championship matchup.
Well, I think the game ball tonight has to go to Mikkel Pajak. We didn't call his name specifically too often because we've been highlighting the halfbacks and the receivers and tight ends around him, but Pajak had the leadership and the wherewithal throughout the game to know when to go up and when to go down. He led that Anchorage Wolves team consistently, getting scores in every quarter and making sure that they controlled the game, especially in those big plays coming into the second and fourth quarters. That's the kind of leadership that they're going to need to continue this momentum. And I'm going to call it, I think we are going to see Anchorage in the finals.
Oh.
Now, the matchup against Philadelphia and Birmingham is going to be an interesting one. Both sides of this next week's matchups, we're looking at veteran teams versus young teams.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be the young kids, the new kids on the block are taking it. Anchorage, Birmingham, at Birmingham. It's going to be a huge offensive game. It's going to be an SFLm championship for the ages. Book it.
I'll make my pick as well. I think San Jose will meet Birmingham. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that is all. I've been DJ Kilgannon, and with me in the booth has been the John Campbell, our statisticians Ellie Diomas and JW Hartshorn, and of course, the great Alex West, making this evening